and how that all happened. Okay, so Siren, if you'd like to introduce yourself and then go ahead and start your toning or whatever you'd like to do. Thank you for being on Codebreaker Real Talk. Here we go. And
Thank
we're
you for
live.
having me. Thank you
You're
for having me
welcome.
on the show. Hi, everyone. I work with frequency, sound, tone, and energy, which through light, sound, tone, and vibration changes and transforms energy. So the intention of this brief toning is to harmonize and open the space. So I'm happy to do that, and I'm grateful to be here with your show. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, Siren. Thank you for actually going, and thank you for all the light language that you provided for us in the drawings.
You're most welcome. Thank you. I know. I know. I so.
Thank you, Siren. While you were
You're
singing,
welcome.
I was creating sigils in space. So I'll send you some of those little drawings that I got. That was beautiful. Thank you. So
You're welcome.
we'll start with Siren. What did you best like about the conference, or the people that you met? Anything special that popped out?
Well, I was really grateful to finally connect with so many people in person because I feel like many of us have been working so deeply our whole lives in all these different areas. And it's actually my first conference I've ever been to. I've done some fairs, metaphysical fairs. So it was really lovely to connect in actual real life, you want to say, and experience the synergy. And I love the dancing because I love to dance, but I love the dancing aspect too because then it's another way of of connecting with others. So
Thank you. I did. I had the pleasure of obtaining one of your beautiful light language scenes. I went to your table twice, and I just knew I had to um, purchase one. Like maybe anyway, and one popped out finally the second time, and it was like, I said, is this like a siren, like a mermaid? I said, because I'm just like so connected to it, and sure enough, it is, and it was from Sirius, and I'm like, ooh, I have connections there. Real quick, iPhone user, who are you, please? Let yourself be known. Or not.
I'm Sibyl.
Yes,
Hi.
Sybil, you made it.
I just saw that message. I'm not very good at Zoom, but I did it.
Yay. Thank you for being on. Syren was just letting us know about what, her experience at the conference. And then so I'm glad that Syren made it and you made it as well. I know I told you guys kind of like a month out, but I'm glad that Brian, was able to make sure we all got there. And then I enjoyed all your pictures, your photography. Your son was so cute. I don't know if you got to meet Tom and Michael and all of us here.
No, maybe not. But I met Syren, and but I didn't hear her speak light language. That's cool.
Yeah,
I can't do that as of yet, so I don't know how people learn to do that, or just have it download, because it seems to be that one person speaks it, it sounds like the other person speaking it, so it really is a language. And it's very old. I've heard it's been going on for many centuries.
Yes.
So
I first learned that in church, when they said, we're going to baptize you with the Holy Spirit. And then,
yeah,
I don't know,
speaking of tongues.
I always spoke that way in my head anyway. So it was just really easy. And then right now, when she was doing the coding, I saw sigils. Like I just saw what was coming out. It was so cool. So you can learn. But you do great work with your photography and your artwork. And did you get a chance to photograph Tom or paint him yet?
Which we've talked, Tom Althouse?
He's right here. He's my co-host and then
hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yes, we took a photo together, and I heard your presentation, your amazing presentation.
Thank you.
I think you proved that you wrote that.
That means a lot. Thank you. I've been battling that one.
I mean, it was actually so much information that I didn't absorb all of it in the beginning, but then I definitely absorbed enough to yep, he wrote that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's coming out in layers now. More. I just met with patent attorneys. No, it was international attorneys. International forums. They're going to be launching our claim into the international forum now. We got these top doctors and attorneys that are doing it. So everything's switching around. So I think all of our stories will open up now. And what's funny, I want to share with you real quick. What I walked away from the conference, and I'll show you, is I walked away with this, the dragon.
Oh, cool.
And the little duck. So it's like dichotomy. You just have dichotomy. So the little duck.
A dichotomy.
Yeah.
I got a little pink duck.
Yeah. So I think that's, we don't lose our childlike. We don't lose our, all the facets that is us. And we keep that harmony in ourselves. And I think they try to tell us that that's crazy. But no, we're to have these different layers in us that I think we embrace them all. We can be in balance. But anyway, yeah.
It's amazing that I'm really happy to hear that you can still fight for this after all that they did to kind of block your claim.
I'll give him
death of that singer. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, George Michael, beautiful.
Yeah.
So now we can lift him and all those that also were taken. Eva, I don't know if you met Eva, who was doing the clearing work. She worked on me before my presentation, and she was at our table and she said something amazing about Maui. I don't know, Erin, if you were there at that moment, but she was talking about, I think you were there. She was talking about how people are, saying how terrible and everything about Maui, but she said that she was there and that people are just sending love on it. And that reminded me about the balance, that sending love on these things they do to us is actually giving us the power back.
Yeah, I keep seeing it in different areas too. I don't know. I feel like my time there was my health was turned around. Not that I was that bad, but I just felt that the time in Florida and getting to use LifeWave patches every day,
Yes,
There's so many
I
amazing
have fun.
doctors. I'm about to order some. I'm going to do it.
Good for
Oh, you
you.
know
Good for
what?
you.
I'm under Michael Jaco. I didn't know that he did it, and I just, I was talking. Sorry, Tom. I was talking to his
Okay.
nurse, and I'm like, I know Michael Jaco. I'm like, sign me up. So I got him for me, and then my son had been telling me about the X39 patches for a long time. A second person, and it wasn't until the third person, that I went to this conference. I'm like, you know what? The universe is telling me once I get 3, I'm like, I'm in. Did you hear about those, Tom? The X39 patches? You were next to that.
I wear them. I wear them. Like if you look at my arm, there's actually a scar right there, a
Oh
long
my
scar on my
God.
arm from lipomas, and now the lipomas are gone.
I have those. Oh
Oh,
So
my
I
I
have
goodness.
one
lipoma.
lipoma on my scalp I'd like to get rid of. That would be awesome.
Stuff works. I mean, just telling you, it works. That's why I gave it to
Okay.
Roseanne Barr. I patched her, and I was telling this lady on the plane too, about this stuff too. That it really works. I wanted to make sure first, but it does. It works. And isn't that wild? Did you catch about the blue pill, red pill?
Yes, I couldn't believe that. Because I've been saying red pill for many years, and now it makes sense what you meant by it. That was the blood. It's better to be blue pilled.
Right. The blue
And
lobster
I was in
blood.
Paris.
Yeah.
And you spoke about that artist Eve Klein, who was into that color blue. I was in the 80s, in Paris in the 80s, and he was really popular then. I remember that very well.
Well, see,
Eve Klein.
that's so cool. Our whole, not to hog the air here, but
Oh,
our
go
whole
ahead.
civilization is going to go through something right now where people have been through religion supposed to turn off the idea of longevity. But the thing is, in my screenplay that I was given, downloaded with everybody else, it's that longevity program. My character, Thomas A., the Neo, is trying to make sure that longevity is offered to everybody. Because if you live 200 years, you wouldn't cap it off at 100. You'd live 200. If our lifespan was 300, we'd live 300. And especially if we live pure health, we wouldn't cut it off. But our religion tells us we're supposed to say, okay, I can't wait to be in heaven. I can't wait to be in heaven. Well, heaven could be right here. And if we have longevity, what's wrong with that? And you know what makes me want to stay on this plane forever is you guys. I want to be with family and friends and loved ones. And so I don't want to go. I don't want you to create for me. I want to be here celebrating, creating, and we can do it forever. So that's why the way to defeat the cabal is they're using longevity as a playing card, as a leverage card to make a one world society. And we got it now with Stanford and IBM. It's happening right now. That's why the Immortals. So they're now leveraging that, saying all these different people on different political spheres are going to come together and have longevity, but that means they're going to put the X, which is eliminate the rest of the population. The way you counter that is longevity for all. When Joel Silver took altered carbon off my work, it is the premise of the rich in the future have immortality, the poor is used as pawns. Let's not be the pawns. Let's have the longevity also. And let's make sure that we take the lead to make a better world for our kids in the future by having longevity. So that's why I want longevity reclaimed and also the Neuralink reclaimed. And then we can put these guys, like I said, on trial and convict them from their own memories with Neuralink. And that's happening now. The trademark office, we got these attorneys that saw the Roseanne Barr show, and I'll shut up in a second. But they called me and they're pushing it through so we can get our patent back, because if you published it, if you have the published proof of Neuralink right there, then we get to post date and enter. We got them. So that's what's happening, is we may just have that 70 years of peace. And bless you guys for having such beautiful hearts. I met you guys, many of you in person. Erin, you guys, beautiful. You guys are beautiful. You guys,
Thank you. You too.
Thank you, Tom. You know what's funny is right before the show, like maybe 5 minutes before the show, I wrote down, because I have a little chalkboard that I like to write things down, like to hype in myself and my kids up. And I'm like, prosperity begins with your thoughts. And I wrote down, abundance begins with your thought. Healing begins with your thought. Love, money, creativity. And you just said longevity. I have a hard time saying that, but how do you say it?
Longevity.
Bring it up. Yeah, go longev. Go longev and then add the rest. Longevity. Longev.
Okay.
Start it out.
Not lingerie, but longev. Okay, got it. Michael, I met you for the first time, and what do you do? Like, what do you like to do? And how did you get a hold of being the MC for the conference? And how'd you get involved with this community? And what did you like? So many questions, right? And we'll go around the room. What did you guys like best? And just go ahead and take it away, and then we'll have Erin.
All right. Well, as she said, my name's Michael. I'm the podcast host of Writing Through the Unknown. I also host The Energy That Surrounds Us. I'm co-host for Paranormal Versus and Beast System. So I'm also a paranormal investigator, but I have been since I was a kid interested as like a hobby looking into the esoterics and just keeping an eye on what's going on in the world, that's like the hidden truths that are out there, and seeking a way to bring the truth about. And in June 2023, my father, who was a big advocate of mine and supported me on this journey, unfortunately passed away. And so, to commemorate him in his honor, I started Writing Through the Unknown. And little did I know that that would become my journey into learning that I was in the programs, that I have a whole hidden part of my life that I'm uncovering. And so I was going to speak at the conference, but because I didn't have memory like Drago and all of them, they were like, well, how about you MC? Because you're a podcast host, you'll be good at MCing. So I was like, all right. So I got to listen to a lot of great talks and presentations and learned a lot. And unfortunately, it kept me from the galactic stage most of the time. So I missed a lot. So looking forward to the links to where we can watch all the presentations that we missed. And the fun for me was, like I told Susan this, is meeting the people who have been on my shows and finding them as authentic as they are on the show in person, that's who they really are. And I appreciate that, because a lot of times you meet people and they're totally different in person than their persona online. So I loved how everybody was authentic and opening and welcoming. So this was my first on-stage disclosure conference to attend. And yeah, my mind has been blown. I've been like trying to piece things together and share what I've learned. And I'm like, yeah, I remember this one. I remember this one. But I'm like, I know there's more, but I can't remember right now. There's just so much to decode.
Said you had like deja vu when we were like getting ready to go on, so that's really cool. Um, okay, real quick, Erin Elizabeth, you made it.
Yeah,
You made it
May-
to the conference. You made it here. Or should I call you Rogue? All right, you talk.
so yeah, but I just wanted to say that like I'm super grateful that I got to make it to the conference, and the way that like everything, like Veronica, like everything kept like trying to block it, but it still worked out. So, that was amazing. Um Yeah, I loved about the conference the most being like, I mean, of course, to meet everyone, but also to just be in everybody's like shared energy field. That was amazing. And also it was super trippy for me. Like I still am like trying to process everything, because this event like this is something that for my whole life I knew was going to happen, but just I didn't know what it was going to look like. But I always knew that like it would be something just like this, And so, and also I think I was receiving like a lot of like downloads, activations the whole time. So it made me like, what I didn't like about the conference was just that happening to me. I know like it was all happening for a reason, but that happening to me made me it was like difficult for me to say everything I wanted there because I was just going through a lot. Like I could feel a lot of shifts, a lot of stuff changing. But I was able to talk to people, like tell my stories. Like I know Sybil, I was talking with you when we were out on the beach and I shared a lot with her. And that was like, and it's just, it was really beautiful. Like I've never experienced anything like this, but it was like a totally new feeling. Like it's like I feel a way that I've never felt before. It was amazing. And a lot happened. A lot's happening now, but yeah, it feels really good, really positive, but also very different. Like it's very, very different. So I'm like trying to, I don't know. I'm just trying to see how I feel, but yeah, I'm really glad it worked out.
Thank you, Erin. So she was my roommate and she's like the best roommate. So I was really happy about that. And one morning she's up at 3:30 and then I couldn't sleep and I caught the wave and it was something to the point that she was not to return where she came from. And I picked it up and then she goes, how'd you know? And I'm like, I don't know. I just picked it up. We went to go get some snacks, some chips, like just talking. And thanks to Brian, she was able to stay where she is right now for a while. And we found out that I'm pretty much, she's Rogue and I'm Logan, but at the same time, because, I have Sheila, Wolverine and all that stuff. But at the end of the movie Logan, he saves a little girl. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's you, Erin. And we couldn't believe it. So she discovered she's Rogue as well. If you guys watch the X-Men movies, like this is the type of things that happen in a conference. Like, whoa, I just remembered a past life or who I am, or X character, whatever. Does that happen to you guys too? Like, I guess we can ask Susan or whoever wants to talk, or Erin. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I resonate to Gambit. The psionics. I resonate to Gambit with the psionics and the cards. Every time I watch X-Men and I see Gambit, I'm like, my head peaks up and I'm like focused.
That is so cool when they can freeze time. Susan, were you gonna say something? Or?
Yeah, I mean, that was Merlin that thinks Jean Grey was created from, my abilities, but I don't know if you noticed lately, but I'm not doing it right now, but I'm tired. Like when I was on Rob's podcast a couple weeks ago, I was glowing. Like when am I going to be able to make my fire aura again? So yeah, and Merlin got me looking at the history of Jean Grey, and I was like, wow, that's weird. Even her body changed like mine did in different decades, which was really bizarre for me. So okay. But then I also kind of resonate with the Black Widow too. There was just so many different programs because I remember being an assassin and slitting guys' throats. But yeah, try not to laugh at that because some of those memories are pretty grotesque, what we did to people. It was kind of funny. Brian brought up that one thing I used to do to people. The attempted rapist. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that stuff. Oh my gosh. Yeah. They're gonna say, Syren, did you meet any people? I know we had Miles Johnson from the UK, Laura Eisenhower, other people like Jean, I forgot his name, Jean or Jean from Paris. Did you get to meet any of them?
Jean-Charles.
Yeah, that way. Say it again.
Jean-Charles.
Jean-Charles Moyer.
Jean-Charles Moyen. I spent 3 years in Paris. That's why I can speak French. But also I was learning it a long time before that. But well, let me just, since I'm talking now, I just want to say that I got a lot out of being there and meeting everybody that I a bunch of new people. Some people I knew already from other conferences, but I hadn't gotten to go to one in a year and a half or something. And I feel I got this cool crystal at my last day, so I'm happy about that. And that girl who was selling them, she has a son that came at the end, and I wanted to try to work out with Brian next year. If other people want to bring their kids, we could arrange some childcare. That might be cool. But anyway,
because we're not really supposed to take children because
we're not?
No, but I'm glad you did.
Did he say that?
Takes his daughter. Well, that's what they told us in the March 2021, but Brian was not a part of that yet. And then that's when so yeah, childcare would be cool. I mean, Brian takes his baby, and Obi is wonderful. He was very well mannered. I know Amaria took hers, and I hadn't seen them.
Well, he's 20, and so he's a grown up, really hip kid. He knows all this stuff, or a lot of it. So
yeah, he was with us in the one in March of 2021, and she brought all her kids. So there was just some people saying we shouldn't bring kids because of the stuff we talk about. But if you can, maybe just make sure they're not around when we talk, especially when we talk about Montauk or,
well, he was listening. My son was always listening to something himself. And I think it's good but he did pick up stuff from the people and different ideas than he gets from the normal internet, where
awesome.
More counterculture,
Right. I wouldn't mind taking my kids. I even told they're grown, but I said, I hope one day you guys can go with me. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool if they had a conference where they want you to bring your kids. That'd be awesome. Everybody can meet everybody's kids.
Yes, that's a good idea, Sibyl. We can ask Brian for childcare or whatever. That would be awesome.
I mean, just like one person could watch him at the pool for a couple hours, and then another person could, stuff like that.
I like that idea. So Syren, what are you gonna do next year what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go again? Or what are you gonna what if you do some of your singing or clearing for people? Because I know it was your first time and you brought a lot of your artwork. I hope that they got to see it.
Well, what I brought was the physical representation in a way of what I do through energy and through frequency, through sound, because the art is somatically created with geometries and layers of light code. So it was to give that experiential and ability to, have the activating healing art to, to take home with the people that are called to the art. But what I actually initially asked was to present and talk about the different modalities, light code, light language, because there's so many perspectives and understandings about it, share some information about the ancient technology of it, and then after the discussion, offer a sound activation. That's something that I feel guided to do, or even sound immersion / activation, where it's intuitively for what the energies are at the time. So that would be my intention, and that's actually what I'm doing at some other conferences coming up. But there wasn't, at the time that I signed up, there wasn't space for that with any more presenters, but I'm definitely interested in that. So, if Brian's interested in that, I'm happy to do that, because I do create a lot of meditations, activations, on my YouTube and things for people to experience as they're evolving, opening, clearing, expanding, etc. So yeah, that would be great.
I have a
I
question.
like that idea. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to ask her about color, because light, energy, color, frequencies, things like that. So when you do your work, do you see certain colors with certain sounds and notes?
Well, yeah, and I actually started when I was an infant. I would see people's thoughts with the geometries. So, like, I could see the sine waves of energy, the color, the shapes, And then I would make sounds with my mouth as a small, child, and I would watch how it would change energy. And then I was like forming and working with my hands. And what I could see as symbols when I was young, I could see the symbols. I didn't have a name for it per se, but that's what I was learning how to navigate through as a very small child. And but I do, that's how I see things, is through the colors, the waves, the sounds. Even in a conversation, like I can see that change as people are talking. I can see the different sine waves shifting and changing, or the color tones, or energy, or the room's energy, all those different things about subtle changes of energy all the time.
Well, when you were doing your opening, I saw ancestors, like it was like ancestors around a fire, campfire. It was really cool. The sounds seemed timeless. It was really cool to hear you do it.
Thank you.
That is so neat. I will, well, actually, you can just message Brian, because I think he's trying to put something together for all of us to be at the Sedona place, because he's getting ready to purchase a huge landmark there. And it's actually the conference room where Deepak Chopra, I don't know how to say his name very well, but that he spoke. So that's his intention, is for us to be there either before the year's over, or anywhere, he said, between like October and February. So I'm pretty sure we'll get an invite or something, and then next year, of course, it's going to be in July. So Syren, make sure, you tell him, hey, I'd like to present this, and that, because it's basically, most of it's going to be guided for healing, but at the same time, we might do, like we did there, speak in the Super Soldier panel, and like maybe Tom too as well. I did suggest my friend, her name is Lisa Weaver, that she can take her horses. She is like a horse whisperer. She's the owner of Turquoise Ranch in Texas, and she said, yeah, she would love to. So, well, there's just a lot of possibilities. He's also saying that perhaps we'll go speak in UK, like a few of us. I don't know. We'll see. I told him that we were going to go international, and he was like, wow, yeah. And then we already have people coming from out of the country. So there was a few guests. Some were from Canada. It was a nice couple that I met. A lady from Poland, her name is Angelica. I got to interact with her. We got to host, Brian and chose like a little group. Susan was there too. We were there hosting the guys from Denmark, Lucas Alexander and Loudon. He was actually, Lucas Alexander was actually married to the queen of punk, and he's putting out a movie, but of course he can't really say it's real, which it is real, but they would like want to take it down. The story of his life. So I met a lot of interesting people. I met Sarah Adams finally. She is a beautiful soul. Sometimes we hear things, we're listening to certain people throughout the ages. I mean, I started listening to her and Max in 2016, and James Caswell, and a bunch of super soldiers, and that's how I had my awakening. So, some people will create rumors or whatever, and then you're like, oh my gosh, you start believing it. So it's like, it's not until you meet someone and you look into their eyes. When I met Tom and all of you guys, like Syren in person, Sibyl in person, Erin Elizabeth, I knew Susan already, Michael. It was just like, wow, we're actually here, and I can see the beauty in your souls and the passion that you all, we all have to contribute to the world, to let them know, hey, this is disclosure now. We are disclosure, because we know that the UFOs and things like that, the CIA is pretty much behind it, and has CIA people like Luis Elizondo. He's still CIA, even though he says he's retired. Bullshit. So all I know is that we are disclosure now, and we are in need of other people to also go and just dig deep through all this year. If anybody's interested in going, like, find out what your abilities are, what you're here to do. Like, for example, I finally got this book by Arthur Fistenberg, The Invisible Rainbow, A History of Electricity and Life. And he was the one that warned us a lot about our cell phones, how we're being tracked, and the satellites that were underground and things like that. He warned us about Elon Musk. So did Tom. Tom warned us about Elon Musk a long time ago. Some people are like, "Oh my gosh, I love Elon." I'm like, really? You have no clue what they're doing.
Did you see what we've
And then
discovered? Did you
Huh?
see? Did you see what we discovered? Was just sent to me. Did I show you that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh
Tell me,
my
tell me.
God! Ever have a second? Can I throw it?
Yes, go for it.
All right, you ready for this? It was sent to me. So my family ancestry comes from Bern, Switzerland. We're royals from Swiss royalty. They just sent me that Elon Musk's ancestry comes from Bern, Switzerland. We have the castle, the Treacle Castle in Bern, Switzerland. So also Elon Musk's family line and mine also came over in the 1600s from Switzerland. Also, we have the Mennonite background. Also, he was accepted at Penn State University, as I was. Also, his great-great-grandfather's buried in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. That's where I went to school at Central Bucks West, which is in the Matrix, Doylestown, Pennsylvania.
I have goosebumps
And then
everywhere.
the Neuralink is mine, and they gave it to him. We have been crossed parallel paths the whole way. It's like he said yes to them, I said no. And then they put this thing about, Spielberg had this thing up about, you have the two, and the strong eats the weak. Well, he wasn't able to eat me. Now it's the what they would consider weak with compassion is superseding the strong, if they want to put it that way. So everything is turning around in such an amazing way, where Elon and I were supposed to go parallel the whole way. I was supposed to encourage him to do the right thing. He's not going to listen to me. He's too into the lust side. So I'll finish the job without him. But we're now reclaiming it, like with the patent attorneys and everything else. But that blew me away. But I did want to throw something to Syren again, if I may, not to just blow your mind and throw it. Orpheus. Orpheus in the Greek mythology could soothe anything, even the sirens and the animals and the beasts and the people. So do you see, I don't see it anywhere yet. I haven't seen it where music or notes or tonal qualities are employed to reach other animals, reach them and find out what frequencies they are soothed by or connecting with us. Because I do believe there's going to be a reconnection with us and the animals, that will come back to a peace chord of, harmony with our fellow beings and sister beings. So I think music's going to be part of that, just like the Greeks had Orpheus. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, I do, and I feel that as well. And I mean, we're energy, we're frequency, and really, if we're starting and beginning with ourselves and what we're harmonically existing at, like how we're emitting. When I walk every day and I'm communicating with the animals, with the birds, with dragonflies flying so close to my body, and it's not like something that would be normally perceived where the animals are as close to me as they are, but it's because I'm toning when I'm walking, I'm sounding when I'm stepping, and we all can communicate telepathically innately. And as we're tuning, we can really do that, where we can communicate with the animals. And also, even beyond that too, the inner earth, all the inner earth beings, that everything is opening up through the earthquakes, right? And all the other earth shifts and temperature changes, etc., that we are meant to co-create and communicate with everything else. And that begins with frequency. And all of these higher, more evolved, when I say higher, I mean more acceleratory, vibrationally living harmonically in union with source energy, they can communicate telepathically, and they can hear what we're emitting, whether we're aware of it or not. So that will create that resonance if there is a communication with other animals, birds, insects, whatever it is. It's just a matter of us becoming present and aware how we're going to
I think it'd be really amazing. As you talk, I could see a TED Talks or something where they start showing certain tonalities that, and showing the effect it has, where there's a bridge in communication, and that'll help humans understand more that animals are actually more intelligent than we give them credit for. and that they are somebody to teach us. So I think it'd be really cool to show examples of that connection through certain music, and that would be the language, like a universal language that would then reach these different creatures. Like I would see that with dolphins and things like that. They use tonals already.
Oh, I have to tell you, Tom, you brought
Yes.
up dolphins. Can I? Yeah. So one of the nights, because we couldn't really swim during the day. I think I only got to swim during the day like 1.5 day, because we were like working. So I would swim at night, and everybody else, like Brian and everybody, would like swim at night. So that night it was just me going to the ocean, and then like 10 minutes later I was singing, and then 10 minutes later my friend Amy, the one that does the jewelry, showed up, and I'm like, hey, let's just sing, right? Because I just love singing. I was singing already to Mother Earth, the ocean, the water beings, dolphins. And then so we like, whatever tone we wanted, just really happy. And then I'm like, let's float, right? So then we both decided to take a break from singing, and we started floating, and I made sure that the water was like covering my ears, I could breathe, like floating. And then I heard, you ready? I'm like, oh my gosh, the dolphins are here. She goes, what? And then she did it, and she heard them. And I was like, what? We were so happy. Oh my gosh, they were like 3-4 miles north of us. And other people said that they saw them during the day. And I was just so grateful. And that night I had found one seashell. It was really big, but I couldn't find my towel for some reason. And so I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to be able to take it with me, but I really wanted to. But I'm like, oh, well, somebody else will pick it up. So then the day, I think it was the day when Sibyl, we saw those huge ships around the tower, and you were taking pictures of us. And I said, look what I found. And there was 2 huge heart-shaped shells open and 2 small ones. And they had barnacles and seaweed growing at them. I'm like, thank you, dolphins. And I brought them to show my kids. I was so excited. And just coming back and recalibrating in the salt water, I needed that. Because I have what I call sea legs. I get like cramps all the time. So I have to like take myself to the water in the tub. I do like what is it called? Magnesium chips, or Epsom salt or whatever, borax, whatever I can find. And I just love being in the water, and that helped me to just heal. Even my friend Lisa's like, oh my gosh, when you left, because I told her, dude, we're going to the Lions Den.
Yeah, I'm on it for a second, okay? I'm on a roundtable show.
Like, going to the Lions Den, right? And so she said, I saw your transformation and everybody's transformation, how
Okay, I'm gonna make those in 1 second.
So I saw that transformation, and I'm very highly telepathic with my animals. All my fur babies are rescue. I have 2 cats. One is a Russian blue, the other one's a Turkish. And then I rescued Lola, my German Shepherd, and her 11 puppies. But I came back more aware, even though I was, but more patient with them. And I was just so happy that I went, you guys. I am so happy I met you all. And everybody had a story and has a story. So if you don't mind, continue with whatever you guys want to talk about, and we'll continue inviting more people. Even those that didn't go to the conference, it's fine. I mean, it's not just, oh my God, it's just us, okay? No, it's for the world. We're here for us. We're here to tell our story. We're here to say what our breakthroughs were, whether health or, writing your books, writing your stories. I was able to touch many lives, and they touched mine. And I encourage even this guy at the airport. I'm like, so how do you like working or living at the airport? And he's like, man. And I'm like, you know what? Why don't you write a story about what it is being in the airport? He's like, what? I've never thought about that. Like, I just want everybody to write and enjoy themselves and play their instruments. And, enough said. I do sing a lot to my fur babies and play my instruments, but I want to hear about you guys. So if anybody else wants to go, I'll shut up for now. Thank you.
I love that you call them fur babies. That's so cute. And I got a Turkish also, by the way, Turkish kitty cat. So very lovable.
I came
I
back.
just wanted to follow. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I came back, and I have 2 fur babies, and they were very happy to see me. And but they had a good week with their dad. So it it was kind of a growing experience for us all. But oh yeah, I was thinking as Tom was talking about animals, sometimes I have a feeling that one of them, or especially one of them, she's telepathing with me or trying to, and like, are you stupid? I'm trying to tell you. You know, they're smart. They're telepathing, and sometimes we don't get it.
So we were talking about at our table too, about how cats will fixate on something that doesn't look like it's there to us, and they'll like fixate on it. And you're like, what's here? You know, it's like, I thought it was really fascinating.
Yeah.
Real quick. So Susan, I would tell her about my cats in the past before I had Lola. And she's like, I hate cats. And then I'm like, you better watch. And then she gets a cat. Like it goes into her neighborhood and she's like, oh man, there's this cat here. And I'm like, it's there to take care of you. And now she just loves it, right? Right, Mama?
My cat was a Velcro cat when I came back. Well, mostly I was mad that I was feeding all these people, you know, my money, and then I have feral cats on the porch, and I don't want to feed any more animals. But yeah. But now that I just have a cat, he showed up actually last year when I went to the conference. So I was a speaker last year, and my dad died, so I didn't get to wear my costume because I had to go home to Pennsylvania, Delaware area. And I got to wear my costume this year. That was good. And then I got to see you and Amari. I haven't seen you guys since 2021. I got to meet Tom, and I got to meet Sybyl and Erin and Michael in person. So that was really nice. And I think my favorite part of the whole thing was the costume party, because I spent a lot of money on that Jean Grey X-Men Last Stand costume. So that was nice getting to wear that. And I met so many people that have just followed their life on Facebook that were the same in person. So you feel like you already know them. So that was really nice. But I didn't talk to Randy and I didn't talk to Jean Charles, and now I'm wishing I did. But what's the original question? I forgot.
You're just talking about your cat.
Oh, he was first when I walked in, he was like, where have you been? And was trying to ignore me, but then he was rubbing all over me and wanted to kiss my face and was trying to pet my face in my bed. I was like, get out of here. 'Cause he's like, trying to sleep. And then he was all curled up next to my head. He usually just sleeps at the end of the bed, but yeah, I could tell he missed me. He's laying right here asleep in my massage room here. But yeah, he's usually near me, or he gets upset by accident. The other day when I went to work, I was in a hurry because I didn't get home till late Monday, and then worked Monday morning. I realized I locked him in my craft room by accident. Because I came home from work and I was yelling, little bit, where are you? I didn't hear anything. And then I went upstairs and he was trapped in a room upstairs, couldn't get out. I don't think he left any presents for me. I didn't smell anything anyway. So that's
Funny. Do you find too that when you get back, they are really close to you? Like my Turkish cat and the other wild cat is like just like all over me. But somehow they feel when they get really close to you, that means, okay, now we're close. Now we can share your food. So it's like, now it's like climbing up, climbing to get the food, get the food, get the food. I'm like, where'd this come from? It's like, we're best buds now. So let's share food. And so it seems to be the deal.
I do share my food with them. Do you guys?
Well, I find it interesting that there's some food my cat won't eat. Like it won't eat the salmon from Aldi, but it'll eat tuna out of a can. And it'll eat eggs. What else was he eating this week? I forget.
Does it eat
My
pate?
don't
Those
like eggs.
cat food pates like in the can? Mine won't touch that. They're like, what is this garbage?
Yeah.
I don't buy that. It just seems like a lot of extra trash. I just get the dry food and I'll give them some of my.
Bought it once, never again.
You know what? I found Tiki Cat. It's like organic, non-GMO. They like it except for like the crab part. Like they don't really like the crab, but they'll eat like the tuna and the fish and all that. And I don't like to get it all the time because I like to share my food. And then, oh my gosh, we're talking about animals. I just love animals. Anyway, I can go on and on.
Well,
Michael, you want to say something? Or?
I was gonna say something real quick though. I just fill in real. A comedian talked about this too. A comedian came on recently. I saw this where he said like, why would you feed your cat beef? Your cat's not going to track down a cow in the wild. It's not going to eat beef. So it's like that made sense. You know, it's like they're not going to do that. Anyway.
Yeah, they like both cats like salmon, and now when I make salmon, I give it to them. Now my Kiki, my Russian blue, oh my gosh, she goes crazy when I make chicken, and she has to have like a little piece. Sorry, there's a thing here. A little piece of but you're not supposed to. I guess I don't know if you're supposed to or not. Like some people say, well, you can't be feeding them raw chicken,
Table food.
but I
Don't
give
feed
her a
table
little
food.
bit. Huh? What? Tom?
They say don't feed them table food, but my cat loves chicken too. Like just loves chicken. I'm like, okay, here's more. But yeah. And you were speaking about frequency too, Syren. And it's like I just realized cats taught us about frequency. Because the purr, they said the purr, something about the if you guys can fill this in, the purr is one of the most soothing things to humans. Like they learned a language for us that soothes us. And I forget what that frequency is matching that they picked up and somehow developed. The purr is for humans. So
It's the from Mother Earth. Oh, yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Siren. I'm gonna say something in chat here.
Well, that's what I was going to say before when you were asking Tom about the tones, you know, the different tones and what they do. I actually, I made a video before with examples of, you know, say a tone that would open, that would basically open a shape, open a, you know, a door, window, a portal, etc. How that would sound in the tone, and then showing with my hands what the energy is actually doing as it's opening to remind also people that that's how you can do that too. Everyone can do that with these different tones. And like, for example, the Om or different key tones, if you're utilizing them in a way where they're active, you're as activated, you can actually do that, or you can close, open, um, move, matter, etc. You know, there's all different functionality, and that's one of the things about light code and us all being coded very specifically is that the code is like instructions, and that's technically, so it has potential to do that. Just like cats, you know, cats are vibrating and oscillating at a certain frequency. I mean, if you ever really look at or feel a cat, they're weaving between all these dimensional planes and seeing so many different things at once. You know, they're very evolved. The way their multidimensionality is
yeah.
in a body.
Well, I got to give cats like aces over humans on being focused. I mean, cats know how to focus. Humans are always distracted. Cats really pretty focused. And I was when you were doing your opening too, I was fascinated by your hand movements. Is that a language? Your hand moves because you went like this one point. You went like this, like a wiggle move. Is that what does that mean when you do your hands like a wiggle?
Well, and that's part of when I am working with energy, whether it's like individually or with groups or say with the land, earth energies, etc., is that I'm using my hands very fast. And what my hands are doing is moving, shifting, opening, clearing, you know, depending on what movement or what code is part of light language comes through the voice, it comes through the tone, it comes through sound, through, people call it mudras, hand movements. You know, it's part of moving, shifting, transforming, opening energy in different ways. But I don't know specifically what I was doing at that moment. If I was doing that, it was probably flowing something through, or centering it, harmonizing through.
Well, you made me think too
That's
that if aliens would meet us, you know, maybe language to the hands is a good way to open up rather than volume speaking. Maybe it's more peaceful to use the hands in a gesture to welcome them, you know, and learn a language together through the hands.
We doing the shimmy. Hey, what's up? What's up?
Because you know what got me? I was talking about Aloha spirit in Hawaii, you know, and that kind of thing, and how they're teaching us also about the love, like at Lahaina, love, giving it love. Well, they got this new series coming out on Amazon about the Hawaiian kings and their clashing. And what really, really bothers me is they're losing the tonalities of, you know, the spirit of their language and everything, because they got them speaking English. So these Hawaiians in this ancient time, they do the costumes beautifully, they do the actions beautifully. I don't know what the series is called, but they have them speaking English. And then what they do to bastardize it worse is they go like this. They have them speaking in an accent English. So the Hawaiian ladies are like, "We're going, we need to be better to move." I'm like, what's so ridiculous? It's like, let's go to the actual tonalities that were in the beauty of that language that was indigenous, and then we can go from there. But Hollywood has to put it in English, just like aliens meeting somehow in Star Trek all seem to speak English, even if they don't have the international communicator.
Right. Well, that alpha beta, that alphabet, this language, and then all the different languages for different countries is like limited boxes where they're not communicating with each other. Because like this box over here, this state speaks that language, this country speaks that language, and they're not able to actually talk to each other. That was created, you know. But if we go back to our all possible for everyone to utilize our soul language, is everyone has the ability to speak light language, and that's felt. It's felt, it's a sensation, it's known from the heart, whatever, you know, system it's from, whatever it sounds like, people will feel, you know, they'll feel the intention or the energy of, or they'll have their own translation of what it is to them. And it'll
That raises
transcend like,
yeah.
yeah.
Another point of which languages in the past. There's like how many that survived, 300 some or whatever languages are still recorded. And they're trying to catch the ones that are going to disappear as people die off. They're trying to catch them, right? The clicking language and things like that we talk about. But I would love to know which ones have the most kind of a spiritual connection in their expression. Because I'll tell you what, English is one of the most guttural. It's one of the most ugliest language for expression of sounds. I think it's just abrupt and cutting, and it's like if you want to scare somebody, I think English is next to Klingon. So it's like, but if you really want to have a smooth language, it'd be nice to find the ones that are like that.
Well, they say that, you're right, Tom. They say that the Phoenicians made the English language and the cursive. That way we can make, you know, they can use us for spell work. I do a lot of spell work. I do spell work and hex removal. So I've been studying that. It's very interesting. Santos Bonacci speaks about that. He has many videos on why they messed around with the English language. And of course, it has to do with the bankers in space that Carrie Cassidy turned, which is, you know, Lockheed Martin, Hughes, Dulles, all that. But Michael, you want to talk, thanks guys. You want to talk a little bit about the paranormal? Because I have a lot of experiences with the paranormal, and I'm going to make a joke. So how do ghosts talk to you? Do you use the replica app, or what do you use? Do you use any apps, or do you use your intuition? Because a lot of people use the AI. I'm like, why? Why don't you use your intuition? Oh, go ahead.
So if I'm gonna use an app, I use an app called Spirit Talkers, but normally I just hear with my own ears and see with my third eye, and I can feel the energy because spirits give energy off, even if they're in this dimension or another dimension. I can sense them around, and so I yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's like I can walk in a room and be like, okay, there's a spirit over in the left corner, there's a spirit over on the right side, there's a spirit above us that's watching, and it's like I start mapping where they all are, and then I just see which one wants to communicate, and if none of them do, I'm just like, well, thank you for making your presence known, and I move on. I don't ever try to force communication or anything, and I'm one of those paranormal people that if you go in and you start yelling at the spirits to do stuff, I'll walk out of the room because I'm like, that's just rude in my opinion. And so I don't like antagonism. So I'm not going to antagonize a spirit to get any information or any proof of them being there. using that. And so when I see people doing that, I tend to just turn around and be like, okay, I'll go talk to the nice ones over here because, yeah, you're going to get what you asked for, probably not the way you think you're going to get it. And that's on you because you brought it up,
Can I ask you a
not the
question, Mike?
spirits.
You just raised
Sure.
something I never thought of my entire life. Is on programs in Hollywood and in specials and shows, they always have the spirit is lost, disconnected, frustrated, searching. Do you ever come across a contented spirit? Someone who's like happy to be here on vacation and loving people and ready to see stuff and petting doggies?
Actually, that's most of the spirits I meet is I feel like the Hollywood version of the TV version is made just for ratings. That's not reality. And I'm a firm believer of, and anyone can speak about this, that spirits are energy. Energy can't be contained. So when they say, oh, this spirit is trapped here, I, I start to question that because I'm like, the spirit can go if it wanted to France, doesn't need a passport, doesn't need a plane. It just goes. So how could it be stuck in a location?
That's really brilliant. So the spirit is more free than we are, in a sense.
That's what I believe. And I've never come across a spirit that they're like, the only time I have ever experienced like they think they're trapped is because another energy is trapping them there and is making them feel like they're stuck there. And so when you're dealing with, people and you hear them go, oh, well, this spirit is stuck here and it's not able to move on. I'm like, well, what's blocking it? Because all it has to do is just go. There's nothing holds it there. Like we're held by gravity because we believe gravity holds us down. We can't travel across water because we believe we need a ship or a plane to cross the water.
What about
Spirits,
animal spirits?
I'm sorry, what kind?
Animal spirits, like for those of us that have loved pets and everything else, we talk a lot about the spirit of our loved pet, and other animals. Do you ever come across that, like the spirits of animals?
I have on several times, and I had um one of mine passed away like 4 or 5 years ago, and for the longest time I had carpet in my house in a hallway, but I would hear his pitter patter on like the tile part of the floor coming around the corner. And I'd be like, oh, he's coming to visit. And then I'd go, wait a minute, I don't have a dog right now. But I knew it was the spirit of. And so I was like, oh, yeah, it's so great that you came to visit. And, I'm glad you're feeling more playful. You're running around having fun. And I talk to my dog spirits all the time, and there's, you know, I've even been where I've seen a cat walk by, and I'm like, oh, who owns the cat that just walked by? And everyone's like, there was no cat. So they'll make themselves known. People don't think to look for them because everyone's focused on, ooh, who lived here? Who did this? Who did that? Who's this spirit? And they forget about the animals.
I have one more and I'll shut up. I keep seeing a shadow of a cat, like it seems so real, and it runs from my hallway to the garage, and then I'll come out and run from the hallway to the garage. Like I naturally would want to think, oh, I might have to go in the garage and search for something, but I don't know what to really make of it exactly. Even my mom had a discussion about this because it was so real. I'm like, what is this garage kitty thing? Do you have anything about cats trying to send us messages?
Well, it could be sending you a message of, be aware of what's around you, and maybe there is something in the garage that you're meant to find when the time comes. But another thing too is that the spirit of the cat may just be passing by just to say hello and to say, oh, you can see me. Well, I like that you can see me, so maybe I'll come back again. And just enjoys the energy of what's there. And another aspect of it, sorry, could be, and I know this kind of crosses out of the paranormal field, and I don't know why. I don't feel like it should, but I get told it does, is you could have a portal.
I was
And
just
so
gonna
the
say
cat is
that.
coming out of a portal,
Yep.
walking, and then goes into the other portal.
Mhm.
And so you could be right in that perfect line of sight to where you see it going from one plane to the next.
Mhm. That's right.
Yeah,
I've
that's
had that
pretty cool.
happen to, yeah, sorry, Tom. I had happen, one of the ladies I was helping 3 years ago, she told me, she was sending me pictures, and I'm like, okay, you have an open, pretty much an open wormhole in your kitchen, I said. The light shined in a certain way that it didn't shine in any other place. And I said, you can either close the portal or leave it open. It's up to you, I said, but then you have to deal with the beings that are being sent to you or whatever. That's what I got. I got like that it could be a wormhole or a portal that's open in your space. And at the same time, I got that that cat is also protecting you by it keeps visiting you as well. But it's
There is a
I don't know.
third
I just
option, Veronica,
yeah.
is you can leave the portal open and whatever comes through comes through. You can leave the portal open and put what's called guardians on it so that only
Yeah.
certain
Right.
frequencies can come through,
Yeah.
and they will actually protect you from harmful energies or negative energies or dark energies, whatever you want to call them. They will actually prevent them from coming through.
Oh yeah.
Even if you were to say walk in from, say, on the conference and something happened and and you're feeling really low, the second you pass into that through that doorway, you're going to lift up, and whatever was bringing you down, they'll be like, you need to leave, and they will take and clear it out of your field. If you tell them to do so, you have to give them directions of what their so-called mission is to do, or you can close it if you don't want to have that anymore.
No, you're right. I use black salt, sometimes pink Himalayan salt, copal, sage, palo santo, holy water. I make my own holy water. So I have many ghosts that, well, I'll just call them ghosts. Since I was a child, we can probably do a podcast on that one, Michael. But some of them I let stay with me as long as they don't prank my kids. Or there's a young little girl that was with me for years. And my son and my daughter even would hear rattling in the kitchen, and my cats were with me, you know. So I told that little girl, because I heard her say, Mama, this was back in 20, oh gosh, when was it? 2017. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Right. So I said, okay, you either have a choice of going to the nearest hospital if you want to reincarnate, or I can help you go through a wormhole or portal to go back to where you want to go. Um, you can hang out with me, but I don't want you to scare my kids. Things like that. When I moved into this apartment, I didn't know. I felt a presence of a female, like something's going on here. I started feeling depressed, and I'm like, this is not right. So a year later, I talked to a neighbor, and she's like, do you know that a lady committed suicide? I'm like, oh shoot. I'm like, no wonder I feel it in the bathroom. I don't know exactly. They didn't know. They didn't want to tell me. And then a year later, her brother that lived here died. So I had already done cleansing, but I had to do more cleansing. Real quick before I forget, there's a lot of videos out there that show people in the grave. They show like people with the O-meter or E-meter reading. And that's because they're still being used like in video games and in other dimensions. Okay. So just because we die and they put us underground, especially if they put us underground, that doesn't mean we're dead. You know what I mean? We're eternal. So if you listen to Sabrina Wallace, she explains everything. Also DNA sequencing, we call it timelines. She calls it DNA sequencing. And there's a movie that I always mention. It's called Gamer. Gamer is a perfect example of how they can use this. But you have to say, I do not consent. We still have to fight our way through when we're done here to go home or wherever we want to go. And I think a lot of the ghosts will say that get caught here is because of the MK Ultra programming, like you're going to heaven or hell, you know. And so I think fear a lot of the times plays a game on that. Now, two more things.
Well,
Susan,
real
I
quick,
think
Veronica,
yeah, go ahead.
one thing I want to add is when we're talking about spirits, I have recently started to discover we think they're ghosts that are deceased people here, but they can be alternate timeline or dimensions that have bled in. So we're seeing someone's life without realizing we're seeing someone's life. And the other thing is, I have a feeling some of these beings that we've met aren't spirits or ghosts as we think we are. I think they might be star beings that are trying to make contact by going through a different route instead of coming down through the sky and saying, okay, park the ship. Everybody remember where we parked and come and say hello. Is they're coming through other means. And because our minds don't know how to perceive, like if a plating was to walk up in front of me, my mind would be like, this has to be a ghost. This has to be some kind of phantasm. So it's going to create the image of that where I'm actually meeting an alien being, but the mind
Well,
doesn't can't
yeah,
comprehend that, so it creates a closest image.
There's
yeah, it could
another
be an
part
alien,
too.
but I'm also gonna go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't mean to. Sorry. Sean Bond and I were having a talk. He met me. I met him for the first time. We were talking,
He's
I think it was
awesome.
him and I, talking about time traveling tourists that in the future people want to come back in time to witness certain events. And it's almost like you can feel them around. It's almost like tourists around you. Doesn't sound so glamorous, but I think there is that possibility. It seems at key moments, it feels like there's a crowd which have paid tickets almost. I think that there
You
will be
read my mind.
travel tourism, but I want to see what you thought of that.
Exactly. And I was just gonna say the time traveler's wife. A lot of people can time travel. I'm a time traveler. So I can go in and go and visit a person and a lot of people get scared. It's like, oh my gosh, Veronica, I saw your eyes and I got scared. And I'm like, okay, well, don't get scared. Just say, you know, what do you want to do while I'm there? A lot of people they'll time travel. Like you guys have to watch Time Traveler's Wife. It's about this, and I know I'm also in the Edwardian time. So there's about this guy who it starts out that he goes to like say a Goodwill and gets like an old like Edwardian time suit, and he gets his old watch, his old how do you say pocket watch, and he wants to go back and see the love of his life in the Edwardian times, and she's already gone, but he can go and he holds like the you can hold either a penny or a certain old thing that you have of that person, and go back in time. But I'm not going to spoil the movie. That's that you read my mind, Tom, because yeah, it's
Well,
true.
yeah, it's,
They're
it
gonna
was synchronistic. That's why. But I wanted to hear yeah, that's beautiful because I wanted to hear what Michael said about this too because it almost seems like I worked at Colonial Williamsburg and other places too, where you had the people come through and you do the acting and the exhibit, and it feels like people are supposed almost like they're told to be at a certain distance, like they're don't cross this line, don't hit the barricade, and watch what's going on and be respectful. It's almost like they have rules for coming back and seeing us. It's really freaky, but I wanted to have your guys' thoughts. But no, that's good, Ron.
Yeah, and there's actually is I think it was a TV movie or a movie where people actually were like in an airplane and selected what time period they wanted to go to, and they started figuring out they could interact. And so somebody tried to go back and erase an event in history and caused a whole lot of problems because it was breaking the time system because if you go back and change something, then you're altering the future. And a thing about time travel is in the programs, we time runs differently And so I was talking with Kirsty Campbell, and I don't know if Susan, you and I talked about this, but the fact of like werewolves in history, it's like I wonder if it's us went back in our alter forms and somebody witnessed it and we created the vampire and the werewolf lore because they saw us doing something and they're like, oh, this looks like something that, we need to record history of, and it appears out of nowhere. And we're like, wait, that could have been us.
Can I add one more layer then? You guys are firing it off here. So good. Or do you want to respond, Susan?
Well, the werewolves in Irish mythology protect the children. And I do remember seeing them transform people into werewolves in the programs, or these lichen looking things. And because they did that to my counterpart, and he was killing all the white coats, just throwing them against there was glass walls where I could see going down this hallway. And yeah, I guess it wasn't. I was laughing. I was like, get them, get the white coats. So it's not a good idea to get me to calm somebody down, especially when you're doing something to them I don't like, because I'll just get them more riled up. But I do remember them making him into a lichen, and somehow they made me into like this brown house cat. We had talked about it when we were talking back in the day, and yeah, I remember him being a lichen, and I was a brown house cat. And he said, yeah, I remember them sending me back and me telling my mom about Brownie the cat. And I said, that was me. They put my consciousness in a house cat.
No, it's true. They used us in Montauk. I have in my book Sheila, Wolverine, Mars, and Montauk. I talk about the different. I've dealt with so many. I've dealt with the dogman, the wolfman, but I'm also a wolf. I'm like Anubis, but then a werewolf. There's also I'm also a lichen, like an evil. What is that movie? Resident Evil. That is part of the Montauk program. That is real. You can actually take us and transform us humans into werewolves and lichen. That shit is
Especially
real.
if it's in your bloodline history, because all those legends were actually things our bloodlines could do, and that's what they were going for. But I've had people here locally. This one lady, she's got this huge lichen that's one of her guides. But I don't know, she might have been in the programs with us too, because I know I saw her son in ancient Sumeria when I went to work on him once. So I said, do you have any memories about ancient Egypt? Because he looked like, I saw a version of him where he had the little pot belly. Remember the pot bellies? People, he looked like that, where, regular humans don't look that way. And then he said no. And then at the end of his session, he's like, me and his mom were talking, and he's like, oh, I do remember being in ancient Egypt. I was like, dang it, I had you right there and I could see it. And you were like, no, this isn't me.
Yeah. What it is, we're layered. You know what I mean? Like Tom talks about layered thinking. We are also layered with animal DNA. It's not, the human is actually different kinds of animals and and other creations. It's not just, come on. Why is it that I can talk to, I always see myself as Anubis or a werewolf. Why is it that I can talk to Lola, my German Shepherd, telepathically? One time I saw her, I woke up right as I opened my eyes. She had her paws on my bed, but it wasn't Lola. It was a female that had curly, bright red hair. Like her eyes were half moon, little nose, and cute little lips. And she had Edwardian time lace all the way to her neck, and like a beautiful, like a corset and a red coat. And then I did that, and it was Lola. And I'm like, shit.
Well, it's so.
And, yeah.
So it's so plausible when you think about it with T cells and things like that. You have pictures online of people with tails, human tails off the tailbone, and they work with chickens where they get the claw and the teeth again, and they can work with humans. And it's not far off to have the science right there to have us free furry again and activate certain past genomes. So it's like, I think probably are getting that more and more, and probably being done right now all the time.
Well, shoot,
Yeah,
I'm
I
seeing my
had-
Lyran, my dragon, and my light body. So all those, you can activate all your starseed DNA.
Yes, you can.
I got
I had
pictures
a
of it.
Yeah, I had a dream that I had to fight this little. So what happened is I was at I woke up and I went to bed here and I woke up in a bed. I usually wake up in a bed or I'm flying somewhere or swimming somewhere. So I wake up in this bed and my family members are around me and I'm like, what am I doing here? I go to the kitchen. Okay, so then the kitchen turns into one of my sister's house. I'm cleaning and then all of a sudden I go to one of the rooms and there's a whale that has sheepskin on it and it's a hybrid. It's a child that they have hybridized into a whale and a sheep. And there's a bunch of kids and I'm like trying to to get him out of there. And then these two men, I go and ask for help, see who else is going to help me. I go outside, and then I'm transformed into a melanin dominant Black woman wearing yellow, and I have long braids, and it's me. And she tells me go back. So I go back in this form, and there's an old man with white hair that says, okay, he signals another guy and the guy's trying to stab me with the pen to like shut me up to kill me, and then I grab that pen and stab him in the in the neck. I know it's gruesome, but then these two men in black, it turns into the house in that area where I'm trying to save the kids hybrids. It turns into a church. Okay, and then these two old men in suits sick on to me a child who's like 12-year-old boy, and then he has a suit and he turns into a werewolf and tries to like bite me, and then I open his mouth and just throw him and save the kids. So some of the stuff that when I'm in the astral, I'm like, what the hell? But real quick, and I'll end with this. At the conference, Soma Ara had something touch her leg. And I said, okay, do you have an animal that you've lost? Did you lose like a cat or something? She goes, yeah. Okay. I said, okay, it's your cat taking care of you. And the next day, I didn't tell anyone until what happened because something happened at the conference. I was there, I hadn't drank or anything like alcohol or nothing. I was waiting for my food. And then I feel a tug on my waistband. And I was like, and the next day, that's when the whole shebang happened with two people. I had to intervene and ask for the mic back. It was just crazy. Some hoopla happened. So we have to also be aware of people that should actually be banned from these conferences, which I'm not going to get into. But I find it very interesting. As long as we're doing the good work, as we are here, all of us here speaking, we will be warned and protected. What do you guys think? That's it for now.
I agree, and unfortunately, I have to check out because I have to feed my fur babies and get ready for a show, and I have to call my guest. She's been texting me questions. So
Yes,
thank
no
you for
problem.
having me on.
Yeah, it's a good time to
Michael,
wrap.
how can we? Yeah, that's a wrap. How can people get a hold of you? And then we'll go around the room. And how can people get a hold of each of us? And then we'll end. Thank you, Michael. In the room.
I'll send you my link tree, but you can find me on Rumble. The show is Writing Through the Unknown. I'm on YouTube and Facebook under Michael Koff. Those are the three main places and I'm on LinkedIn too, but I don't know if anybody uses that really anymore.
Thank you, Michael. Looking forward to another video with you. Have a great day.
Yes.
Nice to meet you again.
Thank you.
Have a great show. Thank you. Let's see who wants to go next as far as how people can get a hold of you. Syren?
Yeah. I'm
Go
on
ahead, Susan.
Divine Connections with Susan.com, and I'm on Facebook, IG, and TikTok.
DivineConnections.com. Thank you, Susan. And Syren, and then we'll do Tom, and then Sibyl.
You can find my YouTube channel at Syren Wind, just like the spelling of my name. Otherwise, all the links are on galacticenergyhealing.com, and it's inner INNER, galacticenergyhealing.com. All the links for everywhere else will be in that main site.
Okay, thank you, Syren.
Thank you.
Um,
I up. Okay, TomOldhouse.com. I want to show you something really cool. This is a picture of my grandfather there, right over on this
oh my
side.
gosh,
My
you look
grandfather.
like him.
And what's funny is that looks like Draco, who I just met. We were like best friend brothers.
Wow.
So there's my grandfather with his best friend, and it looks like the guy that I befriended, became best friends at the conference with. So I'll be doing a show with Draco too. It's kind of cool. I thought it was kind of cool. Synchronicity. Anyway, TomOldhouse.com. You guys are great.
Thank you, and let us know when you're going to be on Drago's show so I can share it, or any other, show with Roseanne. Oh, Sibyl, you're muted. Let me ask to unmute. Okay, if you can unmute yourself.
Okay, am I unmuted?
Yes.
Okay, I can't wait to see your show with Drago. I also got to meet him, and I had a really good but brief talk, but his eyes, it was cool to look him in the eyes, and he's intense. And and I saw most of his talk, not all of it, but it was amazing. Well, I have my Substack, so I'm kind of an SSP historian, I guess, in a casual, fun way, because I'm an artist, really. So I've been writing too. But anyway, that is awareness of what is hidden awareness of what is hidden.substack.com. And then I'm Facebook, Sibyl Hanes, and Instagram, Figure 88. But I don't know. It's better. The Substack is better. So.
Yeah, everyone, if you don't mind sending me your links, I have Tom's and Susan's, so
I'll do that.
yeah, and then that way I can just copy and paste on this as far as the thumbnail. I don't know if I can get all of our pictures on there, but I'll just pick something beautiful. Thank you all. Thank you, Sibyl. Thank you,
Thank you,
Syren.
Veronica, and everybody.
Thank you.
Yes. We'll see you, Mama. Thank you, Susan. Thanks, Michael, Erin Elizabeth. See you next time, guys. Please like and subscribe. And see you later. See you next week.